Hey everyone, what is good? Welcome back to the channel. This is Silver Hyena, and for today's video, I want to revisit my first ever filming experience. So without further ado, these are the Crayola Signature Blending Markers. And I say that because they're advertised as blending markers, except they don't really blend. Now that I don't have the original cardboard thing that was on this tin, I have not touched these since I filmed my video with, I think about 2 years ago now. So I'm curious to see how well they hold up. Like, I'm curious. Now then, like, one of the major things is that they have 2 colorless blenders in this set. And really, the colorless blender in this set is not exactly the best thing in the world, but oh well. I'd have preferred a brown myself, but still though, these markers, they look really nice. Like, that is one thing I do remember about them. Yeah, it's like they look really nice, and they're absolutely beautiful and sleek, but how well do they hold up over time? Well, that's a question I'm sure that none of you have ever asked, but I'm gonna answer it because I feel like it. So, got my B marker paper right here. So, gonna swatch these bad boys out again and do an illustration. Moment of truth. Oh my gosh, they still work. Well, there's a plus for Crayola on that one. Yeah, I remember enjoying these, but they weren't exactly as advertised. Anyways, I'm gonna finish swatching these out, and then we'll see how things go from there. Okay, so I've got to say that I am, like, the ink was still very nice and juicy. I think they held up. There was a little bit of smearing from the colorless blender, or color lightener as I like to call it, but that's to be expected. I was lazy. I didn't wipe it off in between colors, so that one's on me. But I also thought I would show you, these are the original swatches that I had done, and I definitely think that they look better on the marker paper, because this is just sketch paper. I mean, this is old reliable, and I think that there's a clear difference. Like, I did this before I knew about marker paper, so, or I knew about it, I just didn't want to buy any at the time. You know what? I don't even remember. Anyway, the point is, I have marker paper now, and I've tried this out on marker paper, you know, because you just saw me do it. So, I'm just gonna get on with that illustration now before I talk myself into a deeper hole. Too late, I know. Okay, let's just get on with it. Okay, so I'd like to mention that these particular markers are probably one of the most mixed reviewed art supplies on YouTube. Some artists love them, others not so much. And honestly, I can see both sides of the equation. For one thing, well, they're called blending markers. Now, with a name like that, you'd expect these things to, I don't know, blend all those nice colors, but they don't really blend particularly well. I mean, it's in the name. It's like getting a cheeseburger without the cheese. I mean, of course you can eat a cheeseburger or a hamburger. Don't eat these, please. Please don't. Another point of mention is the so-called colorless blender. Even as a color lightener, I've used better. However, the color selection is very nice, even lacking a much wanted before mentioned brown. The colors in this marker set are very bright and cheerful. The other thing I find these markers are quite wonderful for is cell style shading. And among other things, as you now know, they can last a good long while on the shelf. I wasn't sure if they'd even work or not after all that time. You can also find these markers in your standard big box store art supply aisles and in major craft stores. So if you don't want to wait for shipping, well, it is an option. Now, my model here, Riley, may look kind of familiar. That's because I did a similar painting a while back with this travel watercolor kit. Yeah, I also used that same sketch for reference. Yeah. But I'm not gonna feel bad about it. Mostly, I just wanted to do something that could make use of all the colors in this set. Overall, I have to say that I enjoyed using these markers again. Sure, they're hardly the greatest markers ever, but I love the sleek design, the tin they come in, and the fact that they have a brush tip. I've listed the pros and cons, but if I run out of ink in these markers, or rather when I run out of ink, I would buy another set. Despite their flaws, I like them, even after 2 years. Have you ever used these markers before? If so, post below because I want to hear what you guys have to say about them. And like I said earlier, these were what I used in my first ever video that I did. So I personally think that for me they still held up. And like I said, I can understand both sides of the equation, why some people love them and why others, well, quite frankly, hate them. But sometimes the only way that you figure out if something is really worth it or not, sometimes you just gotta try it out for yourself. Alrighty, so here we are. Bottom line, do they blend? I'm still not convinced these are really blending markers. Are they usable? As you can see here, yes. Yes, they are. I'm also aware that just like with the last piece, I also brought in gel pens again for metallic and white. No, I don't feel guilty about that at all. But overall, I think that these pens, or, well, markers, whatever, they still hold up. They're not perfect. They may not even perform as advertised, but I enjoyed working on this. I liked using them. They're different. They do have a bit of a odd smell, kind of like a very mild Sharpie, I want to say. But if you find a set of these on a decent sale, I'd say pick them up and try them out for yourself. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today's video, but if you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, while we're at it, why not visit my Instagram at SilverHyenaArt. And with that being said, this is Silver Hyena signing off. Stay creative, everybody. Bye!